here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite whatever this thing is, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the TFC Thunderstorm. This is on loan to me from a good friend named Evan, part of the community. Reached out and asked if I would be interested in taking a look at this guy. I haven't taken a look at him yet. People have asked me to take a look at him. I know it's a little late, but I figured better late than never. So this guy's a little light on the accessories, a little heavy on the gimmicks. And this is his powered up mode or armored mode. I forget what they call it in the instructions, but it's goofy mode is kind of what it is. There's a couple things to talk about with it, which we will do here in a second, but I just wanted to show what it looked like from afar. So let's take a closer look. So he is a big mamma jamma, so we're going to try to do the best we can in terms of kind of going through him, so to speak. So this top portion here, you can have it all the way flush so it looks like a fancy space helmet, I suppose, or you can push this thing up and then you can have his head down and then you can have this kind of sitting on top. Like, either option is fine. This is like a translucent, like smoky blue color here, which looks good. Obviously, you lose all articulation there. These pieces here are supposed to be in the center and covered down, but you can move them out of the way a little bit depending on your preferences. We do have tons of paint, purple paint, yellow paint throughout, so that looks good. On the chest here, we'll talk about that when we do the alternate robot look. The arms, ratcheted forward, universal joints, ratcheted out, great ratchets. These spin. You have these are translucent yellow plastic. You have a bicep swivel, ratcheted elbow that gets you just shy of 90 degrees. These open up to display guns. There's a button here to activate a light feature. I don't think Evan has installed those batteries. I don't blame him. I wouldn't have either. Translucent yellow, obviously. Translucent yellow for the claws, which do articulate on hinges. So, same thing on this side. Now, you get a waist swivel. Obviously, a little bit of it is blocked due to the kind of clunkiness of the front cape, for lack of a better term. And that's the upper part. Let me adjust the camera. For our hips, which are universals, ratcheted out for the full Van Damme. Ratcheted forward for the full Monty. You do have to get it out at an angle a bit to get the full range. Then you have a knee, which is ratcheted at, I think it's double hinged. Gets you 90 degrees. You have a thigh swivel. You have white paint down there that matches pretty well with this stuff. It is chipping a bit. And then we have purple paint on the lower legs, and we have some translucent doodads in there for breakup and kind of interesting stuff. Let's see. Then we have the feet. So we have an ankle rocker, which is really well done. And then you have the toes, which are kind of on ball pegs, but the ball pegs are at a weird angle. But they're like, I guess it's kind of a double ball peg, but you don't really get the initial one. So you can move the toes around on the other ball peg to kind of get you the look that you're looking for. The toes are die cast, I believe, and everything else. At least they feel. They might be plastic. I think they're die cast. And then the back of this monstrosity is kind of, you know, pretty intense, much like the front. Size comparison wise, there it is with G Creations Prime. I think this guy is mostly known from the comics, so I figure this is kind of a lucky accident. I don't really have access to most of my collection at the moment. If you want to know why, check out yesterday's Praetorian Guard video. Got some major stuff going on at the moment. There's a lot to do and a lot to work with, kind of. Well, it's not a whole lot to do, but it's a lot to work with. So we're going to bring back the cockpit, which is the Spaceman helmet. What's up, Spaceman? Bring it around to the front. We're going to line up these arms here. I just hit the camera, didn't I? Collapse them. And then we want to have them nice and tight to the center. These wrists, for lack of a better term, do swivel as well. So we're going to move these out. We're going to open up the chest. What is going on? Let me open up my sweatshirt here. I keep hitting it with my sweatshirt. Unplug from the elbows. Bring the arms around. Straighten out the arms. Open this up. Bring the hands out. Close up. Swivel around. Bring down. Open up. Hands out. This piece has to come out and down, which is a cool thing. That's what locks in the upper torso. And then once that's free, you can collapse it. Over here, you want to tab in these two tabs into the back. And then, let's see here, these swivel around, and then this comes down, which is a cool way to kind of get some more of the paint and winged look that you're looking for, which is pretty smart. I dig that. And then the legs. Now, this actually swivels around here. I just didn't do it. I forgot to do it, honestly. So to be the heel, and I think you want to keep these in this position. So you open up this back piece here. This is on a double hinge. And then you want to make sure that you have your toes together, which can be a bit of a bear. And we'll do the same for this side, because we're going to collapse the leg, and as we collapse the leg, the transformation kind of happens automatically for us, which is cool, but it has to be lined up right to kind of work properly. All right. There. And, you know, not perfect, but you get the point. Close up the back. We'll do it again. There. Not perfect. Usually the pieces will slide into place. There. And that is him. I will clean him up, and then we'll take a look at this fella. So we're not going to do the articulation really on the lower legs that much because we've already kind of done them, but we will talk about the upper body. So the head is on a ball peg. So you get up to there, down to there. It's light piped, which you know I think is get it out of here. And then we have yellow paint face, and then yellow paint face, and then an orange mouth or inside of the mouth there, and then the same smoky blue-gray kind of visor. All that looks good, and the articulation on the ball peg works fine. We have that blue paint here. The green paint gets a little out of the lines here and there, but for the most part, it's fine. Blue paint down in there. It's covered with paint. There really is a lot of paint on this fella. The wings do articulate. You can get them back a little bit or forward, and they also move here. So there's some options there for your display. The arms, these arms are basically on universals as well, ratcheted out to the side to 90 degrees, ratcheted forward and back, so no problems there. Bicep swivel. It's actually a double jointed elbow. The second joint doesn't get you a whole lot more, but you do get almost the whole bend either way, so no issues there. Little purple paint on the side, and then these are different pieces of plastic. Nope, that's paint here at the upper arm. The lower arm is two different pieces of plastic. Wrist swivel. Fingers are on a base pen knuckle with the index finger being individually articulated and having a second hinge so that he can point, which is nice. That's the way that it should be done. Same for the other side. Waist swivel works. You don't get the full range because the backpack beats up against the hips, but you get enough, I think, to make a good pose. Hips work the same way. Thigh swivel works the same way. The ankle rocker works, but you do start to break up these, and I'm having a hard time getting these two to stay together anyway. But to show you on this side, it does start to push out on these two pieces a bit, but I think that's a small price to pay for a decent ankle rocker, and this ankle rocker is more than decent. He is a little flim-flam. You know what I mean? Like he's not extremely solid. There's a lot of great hardware here, but it's not the most solid. Probably due to the spacing on the ratchets and such. This here is a ball peg for these hips, so you can articulate them a bit in order to get the articulation you need. And then there he is from the back. There's a lot going on there, but what are you gonna do? It's gotta sit somewhere. And there he is with G Creations, a Masterpiece Scaled Optimus Prime. So he's a good size. And because I still have access to these guys as well, there he is with Tarn and Turmoil. So let's get him transformed. And I keep hitting this tripod. So take this off, or unpeg it rather, and then spin it around to the back. You also need to get this little peg out here. I don't know where my new smudger is, but this will work just fine. You need to get these hip skirts that we talked about out and around and facing the opposite way, and then face these the opposite way so that they're facing towards the bottom of his feet. And then this is going to eventually plug into his rear. Okay, look, I'm a rational human being. I know so to speak may not cover that. So we're gonna take a minute, get the jokes out. Make your jokes. You're sitting with a buddy, with a girlfriend or such, you make your jokes. We good? Let's continue. And on the front, we're going to open up this. We're going to put his hands back away and close that back up. Same for this side. Hands back away, close that back up. And then you need to untab this. Now this could work as a butterfly joint, but it doesn't really work while it's in robot mode. This comes around to the back. Same for this side. And then this all tabs in, well, at least it tabs into the buttocks. There. And then the head, turn it around to face the opposite direction and tuck it between the shoulders. You want to tuck around your heels and tuck your toes down. Swivel the thighs, swivel so that the knee is facing inside. Untab the back of the calf and you want to wrap it around the best you can. I don't know if I got that quite right. There it is. And then this comes up and that tabs inside of the shoulder right there. Let me aim the camera up so you can get a better idea. There, good grief. That's not the best tolerance. There. Then this tabs into that purple bit to help solidify it. So let's do that one more again. Rotate the heel to the inside. Rotate the toes down. Rotate the knee. This thing is a little unwieldy. And then you want to open up this back calf. This comes all the way around and tabs back into the opposite side. Right there. And then the knee bends up. This tabs into where the shoulder once was. My other one came out. And then once you have that, you plug that in to the wing. Then you have something that looks like this. This wing comes around, but you can go ahead and get this out and around, and this plugs back in to the underside. This peg inserting there. And then, oh man, I guess you can't. So we'll unpeg it, and we'll spin this around the wing. Then we can peg it back in. My bad. So same on this side. Take this out, spin this around, spin this around, comes underneath. Everything is coming undone for me, and peg that back in. And then your wings sit like this. Then we take this and bring this down, and then these clips here will tab in. Oh, God. There you go. They can articulate right there. And then that's basically it. There is a landing gear here. I'm probably gonna have to use the old tool. Good night. There. And that's basically it. We'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. So it's huge. It rolls like a champ. The wings do articulate, so like if you want them back like that, you could do that. It's up to you. And I think it looks pretty cool. I love how the thrusters are like the claws, you know, to the thing. Like, I think that looks pretty sweet. Like, I don't have a whole lot of complaints. Like, getting there, it's massive, and there's ratchets, and with the camera in front of you, it's hard to get everything lined up exactly proper. But once you do, I mean, it's solid. You know? Like, I think it's really well done, honestly, in terms of the transformation and such. Tiger Tracks, we got to get him out. There he is. So he's massive, you know? I think they did a pretty good job on this. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the negatives. You know, it would have been nice to have a gun or some sort of accessory. Like, as far as I know, this guy doesn't have any accessories, which is kind of a bummer. They traded it in for the big robo mode, which is not as interesting to me. And the only other problem that I have is, you know, some of the tolerances, well, almost the fit and finish, as my buddy T2RX6 would say. Like that panel on the back of the cat that has to rotate around. Like, it's just not a smooth movement, so to speak, from one end to the other in order to lock into place and stay secured. I would have liked if there was, I love that locking mechanism that keeps his waist extended for the Ultra Mega Robot mode, but I wish there was something to keep it locked in when he's in regular robot mode, because as you go to like pick him up and stuff, you know, he does slide up and about, which is, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's easy to navigate. It's just that it's one of those extra things that makes the toy a little less fun to mess with. Surprisingly, though, the good far outweigh the bad here, though. It has a strong presence. It has good weight to it. It's a big, beefy bot. There's paint everywhere. The articulation works across the board and like a champ, even with all the extra stuff he has to have hanging off of him. Given that, I think it even cleans up fairly well. And there's great materials. The plastic feels sturdy. The build is a little unfortunate, like some of the ratchet stuff shakes about a bit, but the plastic itself feels great, and there's tons of ratchets and, you know, great hardware used. So I like the sculpt as well. My drawback to this character personally is that I just don't care enough about this character, but if you do, this is a pretty solid toy. I think you'll ultimately enjoy it, and therefore I ultimately give it a recommend. I want to thank Evan again for the opportunity to take a look at it, and thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.